So for today's video, we're going to be going over who our top pick is for the last member of the Sinister Six. Cam, we're going to go crazy right now. We already know that we have Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard from posters and trailer footage. But I want to know, man, what do you think? Who is your number one requested draft pick for the final slot in the Sinister Six?
Ooh, so I had some decent honorable mentions. I had a Yellow Jacket, potentially Kingpin, Scorpion, Curveball with Doctor Strange. But for my number one person that I had was Ned, Peter's best friend, as Hobgoblin. So we can get in that in a second. But who were your honorable mentions and who was your top pick?
So my honorable mentions, and I got to say, shout out. I think your number one honorable mention, I got to say Kingpin. I think it'd be so sick if they were to tie in the Kingpin, Daredevil, especially that whole aspect of Kingpin being like a drug lord and like a benefactor to the whole team. That'd be sick. Down for my list, my 4 honorable mentions, and then my top number one. Starting off with number 5, Rhino. I think he'd be a cool addition, although I feel like his character doesn't have much to him. So down to number 4 would be Venom. I think that'd be so sick based off of the post-credit scene we saw in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Number 3 was Scorpion. We saw little hints and teasers from him in the previous Spider-Man movies. So, maybe he can make an appearance. Mysterio. My boy's not dead. I got to see a body. I got to see a grave. I don't see it. So he might come back. But my number 1 would be Kraven. How sick would it be? My boy comes up and he says, "Oh, Spider-Man, you are my number 1 catch." And he just pulls up to the scene.
A little tweak and stuff that they can do is if he's even a multiversal hunter. You know what I mean? Like, what if he's hunted Spider-Man from across the multiverse or something? And like,
Yeah.
we have him somehow pop up because clearly we have different multiversal characters, right? Doc Ock was not a main MCU character, right? He came from a different Spider-Man that we've seen on screen.
Mm-hmm.
All these characters that we're going to see for the 5 Sinister Six are coming from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. You're not. That's not someone that you want coming after you. Let's put it that way.
No way. Especially because Kraven puts together like what I would imagine like a Punisher vibe. He has these tools. He has this finesse when it comes to his hunting style, with like the ferocity of some of the other Sinister Six characters. He could really bring together like the tactical plan on how we can get Spider-Man.
But for my pick with Ned, I think that they could use 2 different versions possibly. If they're going multiversal and putting new characters in, pulling a different Ned as Hobgoblin in, or the Ned that we see, who we've seen in the first 2 Spider-Man movies, the first 2 of the trilogy, that Ned is starting to evolve, right? So you have the snap that happened. You have his life being turned upside down because he's friends with Peter. You have all of the stress of them trying to be high schoolers and teenagers and do all this kind of stuff. And like his life is just blown up. One thing about Ned that would make him turn and like help his villain turn would be thinking about how J. Jonah Jameson potentially figured out Spider-Man's secret identity. Even though Mysterio has what he has, like, is it possible that it was furthered by Ned's, somehow he's interacting with it and he's like confirmed, like, yes, this is who it is. I have this footage. I know who this is. Like, he just like throws everything out there. And moving on, I was trying to think like, how would he turn into the Hobgoblin, right? Because it's a very similar character to Green Goblin, like literally goblins.
Yeah.
And the weapons and the glider and all those things are there, right? How he gets turned, it could be gas, it could be something like that. Like, so I feel like there's small things besides being turned by a spell from Doctor Strange or Baron Mordo or whoever it might be. Like, dude, Ned could have a lot of hatred for Peter secretly, and he just wants to just kind of just let loose and take revenge on him for just ruining his life. And I think that would make for a huge, huge final battle if he ends up killing Aunt May, maybe with a pumpkin bomb or something like that, or he tries to go after MJ, or something along those lines, where like Peter has to face his toughest challenge yet, and that's literally facing off against his best friend, who he most likely is going to have to stop him by lethal means.
Yeah,
Uh, Dude, that'd be a tough movie to watch, but a
that would
good
like
movie.
definitely enhance his character development because you know he has to decide if being a hero is worth the expense of losing his best friend, like literally losing him, as in stopping him for good and making sure he can never hurt anybody else. Like that's got to be that's got to be a tough scene to watch, bro. If that's the real deal, man, that's gonna give me straight Infinity War vibes. I don't feel so good, bro. I mean, I honestly feel like this movie, especially considering what Tom Holland has said in the interview, that they wrote this movie as like the last one for his trilogy, right? His sequence in the story. It could potentially be over here, bro. With everything that's in there, considering we have the multiverse, I have to say that we're gonna get a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield confirmation. As much as I want to say I would wait to see it in the movie theater, dude, if they show up in this trailer, it is game over. Every single Spider-Man fan, Tobey, Andrew, or Tom, are gonna pull up to the scene and they're gonna just run that ticket. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking what'll happen. Tom Holland is gonna have his battles with each of the individual characters from the Sinister Six or whatever. The final battle is gonna be all of them against Spider-Man, and then boom, you're just gonna get a web come in from the left, a web come in from the right, and Tom's gonna be like, "What? Who was that?" And then bam, cut to the panoramic view, and you got all three of them ready to go, dude. Like, man, that shit would be sick as hell.
But I'm gonna go left field. It's been rumored. I don't know if it's gonna happen. We have stuff coming up. I have a feeling that we're gonna see Matt Murdock.
Ooh, dude, I
We're
would
gonna
lose my shit for
see
that
a
too.
Matt Murdock, glasses, suit, cane. Maybe not Daredevil confirmed, but a Matt Murdock being like, "I'm gonna help you out" kind of thing. Um, just because I feel like with Hawkeye coming out, they're gonna throw some stuff in there. I feel like that's gonna get the ball rolling on the Daredevil reboot. I think
Mhm.
they're gonna slowly piece those things in, but I think right now they're crushing it with dropping us characters without dropping like the superhero version of them. You know what I mean? Almost like spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it, but if you haven't heard by now, I don't know how. The Eternals post-credit scene with Dane Whitman and then Marshall Ali and Blade, right? Not
Yeah.
like a whole thing that came out, but like the two characters, like they're just planting more and more and more and more seeds. So for me, I'm gonna leave it a little bit more on the conservative side and go Matt Murdock appears after they throw some more footage out there from the characters we've already seen in the trailers, and they save the Toby and Andrew Garfield for either closer or the movie. Because I don't know, man.
Bro,
Either
like,
way, I go wild for it. Either way, I go.
oh, I'm going wild.
I would prefer your idea.
Well, because like I just think, not to say that like Tom Holland can't handle the Sinister Six on his own. And I feel like even introducing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire into this movie wouldn't discredit Tom as a Spider-Man, like as a character, right? Like people aren't gonna see all three of them show up and be like, oh well, Spider-Man, Tom Holland couldn't do it by himself. Like, no, the whole
Mhm.
point is, dude, now we got straight bangers, three different generations of Spider-Man, all teaming up. They know, right? Because dude, Tom Holland hasn't fought any of these people on the Sinister Six yet. What better way for Andrew Garfield to say, "Yo, I'm gonna take these two, you take those two, and we're gonna just go crazy," like, man, and dude, like, just imagining some of the combo moves that I feel like they're gonna be able to do as multi
Yeah,
Spider-Mans together.
yeah.
All right, well, there you guys have it. Our top picks for who we want as the final member of the Sinister Six, as well as some quick little lightning round theory crafts for the trailer that's going to drop later today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe. Turn on the notification bell for me and your boy, Cam, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.